Welcome to exciting Las Vegas as the Pro Bowlers Tour visits Thrill City for the 38th year. Let's meet our field of 5. The 5th seed is making his 4th consecutive top 5 appearance from St. Anne, Missouri, Pete Weber. Bowling Pete in the opening match is a 12-time champion. Looking for his second win in a row, Parker Bohn, the 3rd. The 3rd seed is a 2-time champion after his first win since '92 from Albuquerque, Mike Miller. The semifinal match features another 2-time champion from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Steve Jaros. And our tournament leader is looking for his 23rd career win. Second this year from Stockton, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Though there's a lot of money at stake for these 5 champions.
You're right, Chris. The Showboat put $35,000 on top, and what a field. 60 titles out there among the 5 players. The 1, 2, and 3 ranked bowlers in the world going at it today. First match, 2 and 3. Weber against Parker Bohn the 3rd.
Seems like a replay of last week. Both were on our telecast, the AC Delco Classic from the Cal Bowl, and here's the man that was up first last week, Pete Weber, in the number 5 position. 22 titles, national titles, 29 regional titles, and there was some extraneous laughter coming from off to the left. And now baby's crying out to the left.
Well, we look at his round scores, Chris, as they get them all settled down here. There were 7 rounds this week. Normally we have 56 games, 32 qualifying, 24 finals, and you alluded to, there's a little bit confusion. You alluded to the Parker Bohn Weber rematch. In that match last week at the AC Delco, Parker Bohn whipped Pete 227 to 156. So here we go, ready for action.
Pete is the father of 2, Nicole and Ashley Marie. Beautiful. Absolutely a stroke and strike from Pete Weber. Last week's winner, Bill, looks fit again.
Well, he got off the, as they say, the schneid, Chris. You know, you went 12 tournaments in a row without winning a title, and now when you're off, you can stay red hot.
Well, nasty 6-pin for the left-hander. How tough is that for the lefty?
No problem for him, Chris, and as you see, he hits the line a little bit off balance, kind of uncharacteristic of Parker Bohn. The 3 goes around the 6. Once again, he bowled 56 games this week. Our normal tournament is 42.
All right, it's a strike and a spare in 2 frames here in our very first match.
You know, something to look forward here is that last week we had 3 left-handers on the championship round, and they seemed to dominate as they got a little bit better. Today, Parker Bohn is the only southpaw. And if he can get cooking out there, he may be unstoppable. However, I look for the righties to prevail today.
Well, continuation. Hopefully makes spares.
And this is one of the reasons I look for the righties to prevail, Chris. Parker is playing a little bit inside angle on this left-hand lane 51 in this bowling establishment. And there's a little hang spot. I watched him practice. He leaves the 3-6, and I think you're going to need a lot of strikes today. 225 will not get it done.
Great consistency by the 12-time champion, winning it last week. This is his 50th time on television, whereas Pete Weber, at only 34, has been on 79 times. A double.
Now, Pete Weber is playing an extreme outside line. Starting in this position, his target area is going to be right outside the first arrow, almost a straight line. Remember last week we saw him throwing that big serpentine hook? That won't work today.
didn't come up, and look what's left.
Did not expect that. He gets that shot just inside the first arrow. As we pointed out, he had to get it outside the first arrow. The lanes are much drier out there, and he'd have got it to flip back. Here he leaves himself with a tough split.
Okay, all-out try for the conversion, but he's left with an open frame.
Pete Weber, pretty high percentage split. He'll make that 1 out of 3 times. He doesn't get either pin, and he loses the count. He trails in the match by 4. Parker Bohn has yet to strike.
Right lane. Big bend. All right, Parker Bohn and Pete Weber in our very first match here at the Showboat. We'll return to Las Vegas.
Well, Chris, you know, on this left-hand lane here is going to be the key shot as Parker Bohn comes up. Both players, we saw Pete Weber struggle on it. Parker hit light on it. Can he make the adjustment, get the ball to flip up? He has 2 choices: move farther to the left or put a little bit more power on the ball.
$7-10 for the lefty. So hopefully he'll make his 3rd spare in this first game.
Well, Chris, he had a wide open split standing there as a 6-7. The ball cutting very sharply through as his mother looks on. Flew out here from New Jersey. And he almost got a 6-7 split, has a fairly easy spare here.
Gene Bohn sees their son continue to mark. Las Vegas was once mountains and desert. And you know now, it's truly one of the glitter capitals of the world. Well, today, Bo, we're just using 2 of the 106 lanes of this establishment. And early now, Parker Bohn, who won last week, has a 4-pin lead on this man.
Well, everybody seems to be able to hit the right-hand lane. 52. 51 is going to make the difference in the matches. Now here's Pete Weber.
Leaving a single 3-pin. I mentioned 106 lanes. It used to be the biggest, but there are 3 others. Yeah, 2 in Taiwan and 1 in Japan, larger.
Well, it's the largest in the United States. As we see Pete drifting high, ends up with an easy spare.
Okay.
Peter, one of the great clutch players, as was his dad. Interestingly enough, his dad won this tournament in 1965, won $3,000. Pete won it in 1985. 20 years later, got $33,000. The growing PBA prize funds.
There's a young man that won titles in 11 consecutive years. Picked up a few rays out here in Las Vegas.
Weather's been gorgeous.
Now Parker Bohn. He loves that right lane. Spares on the left, strikes on the right. Let's see what he'll do as he moves over and warming up is Mike Miller.
Parker leads by 4, can make it 14, 6th frame.
Finally, that double.
Parker just made 2 super shots there. What Pete has to watch is the one thing he's had a little trouble with in past years is varying his speed. He gets hard, then slow, hard, then slow. If he keeps that even, moderate tempo, he's as tough as they come.
Okay. Next Saturday at 3, 2 Central, ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour travels to the River City. for the Peoria Open, where last year Wayne Webb scored his 18th career win. That's next Saturday at 3, 2 Central, right here on ABC.
All right, Pete Weber can take the lead here, 7th frame. He trails by 4.
Oh, did he have that one on the edge?
Whew. What a graphic example of getting the ball out of the hook area. He gets it too wide. You see the ball going out by the channel. Remember, he slid by the head pin when he didn't get it out wide. Cuts right through the middle of the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. It's makeable, but tough.
Pete Weber, Las Vegas offers many games of chance. That's right. Even Hall of Famer Mark Roth has chips on the table. That's right. As you see, with a 23-pin lead, Parker Bohn has a double working for him, shooting in the 7th frame, first game. Wow. 33, Bo.
Chris, I'm with Mike Miller, former PBA national champion. And Mike, you really couldn't make it out here on the tour, and then you switched to the 2-finger, no-thumb grip. Could you have made it in the traditional way?
Well, I think it would have been very difficult. I think it would have helped with the equipment that I have today. I think it would have helped me more to bowl with my thumb, but without it, I just have so much more power that it makes it much easier for me.
He's a tough player, Chris. He throws a real freight train. He'll be up in the next match. Back to you.
Okay, Mike Miller. Here's Parker Bohn. The pesky left lane for Parker. He has a wireless microphone. Not talking too much today, not as much as he did last week. Yet he won. 2-4-7.
Good technique here. He'll kill that big hook, go hard and straight.
No open frames for Parker. However, for Pete, he has 2.
Parker going at a 2:15 pace. Pete Weber, if he takes it off the sheet with that strike ball, can end up with 2:15. So the match is still up for grabs. Well, Pete is just not in rhythm and time out there right now. He's sending it wide, it goes high, he gets it in the oil, it slides by. You watch this ball, he'll go pretty wide with it, almost out to the edge board, jumps up for 4. Now, oil is a determining factor of how a player plays, and we'll take a look at the PBA oil pattern. Obviously, the pins are down there 60 feet. Our oil pattern is 38 feet, and basically, it's heavy in this area. It's a medium oil in this area and light in this area. It's all tapered in. There we go.
That's his first strike, well, since a 6th frame. Get an open and a spare.
Parker Bohn needs 2 marks to shut out Pete Weber.
Tonight on ABC, Annie Potts stars in an all-new Dangerous Minds. Then, Susan Day and Cicely Tyson in a world premiere movie from Hallmark Entertainment, The Bridge of Time, tonight on ABC.
Cicely Tyson, one of my favorites.
One of my friends.
Who?
I joined Cicely and a few others in judging the Miss America contest a few years ago.
All right. Well, judge this shot. The man needs a mark. Shot. Come on. Yeah.
Parker continuing his winning ways as he did last week. Gets a sportsmanlike gesture. Pete's kidding of it. There's Gene Bohn, who came today with the tiniest Chihuahua dog I've ever seen. Got to put him in your teacup. Parker Bohn will be going against strong Mike Miller.
Well, important matches when you're among the elite at the top 1, 2, 3 among bowlers in the world, and Parker Bohn has prevailed 2 weeks in a row over Pete Weber.
235 for last week's winner. All right. I love his look of
And then I wind up playing them straight. And we just practice playing them straight.
You know, just to pick up on their conversation, as Tracy looks on, Pete said, I played him straight, now I went to the hook. Look at the big hook ball he's throwing now, and that's probably the right shot for him today. So he's way inside, much different.
my, oh my.
That has to be somewhat satisfying, Chris, anytime you
Yes.
bowl, even at their level, to come away with a positive feedback and experience. You take it to the next championship round you're in. Pete's got all the shots, just guessed the wrong one.
He'll be strong in Peoria. 202 as this ABC Sports presentation, the Professional Bowlers Tour, will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
The look.
Here in Las Vegas, Parker Bohn, 8 strikes for a 235. Pete Weber, a 202, so it's Bohn now going against Albuquerque's Mike Miller, Bo.
Well, it'll be an exciting match. 2 power players, and Mike Miller, if you haven't seen him, he's fantastic. Now, a little bit of a different note. Chris Schenkel, my partner, from college football to pro football to the Olympics to boxing, and, of course, to the bowling Professional Bowlers Tour for 56 some years. My partner has been, I would say, the benchmark for television announcers. And this coming week, he gets put into the American Sportscasters Association Hall of Fame in New York. And Chris, congratulations. And from all of us at ABC and the Pro Bowlers Tour, here's our little tribute to you.
It's a 41-yard attempt by Joe Azero. He's 3 for 3 this year. It's up. No good.
The New York Giants Quarterback Club.
A bottle of My Sin perfume by Lanvin for your wife or girlfriend.
Thank you, Fragrant Frank. Chris Schenkel, back again at the ABC studios in Grenoble.
Dashing, beautiful, comely, short piece, Peggy Fleming. Combinations. Oh, and so long. Timber. We have it. We have it. He has just made his 52nd 300 perfect game, but this by far the most valuable.
Did I do all that? No wonder the gray hair. Thank you. Thank you, Carol Luddy and Norm Samet and Freddie Jeff King for putting that together, and you too, Bo.
Well-deserved, partner. Now, this will be an interesting match. Parker Bohn, loose, confident, going for his 2nd victory in a row on the Pro Bowlers Tour. He won the AC Delco Classic, going against a very tough player, Mike Miller.
Close. That only counts in horseshoes. We'll have the champion later, Walter Ray Williams.
Well, Parker's had to make an adjustment on the left-hand lane. He's playing much deeper. That means he's rolling the ball towards the center of the lane instead of the outside line, and you're not going to carry quite as well.
And Mike Miller in that brilliant red shirt has come off the chair, ready to stroke away. 6'1", 180 pounds, 36 years old, has 2 titles. He is the PBA national champion. That well done, Bo?
Well, all I can say, Chris, is when that ball is coming in, it says, come on, train, look out. Here we go. Mike Miller, when he hits the hole, is almost unbeatable.
His wife, Jody Ann. His son, Chris, are here. Leaving a 3-pin on the left lane. Only Mike's second shot as we're in the second game of the Las Vegas Invitational Championship. 38th year the pros have come here. We've come here 36 straight. All right. Spare. Here's Bill Burton.
Yeah, Chris, it's interesting with Pete Weber. Pete, it just never got it going, and he made a little change there in the 10th frame.
Well, you know, I practiced the whole time throwing the ball straight up the boards, and I did that the last 2 weeks trying to hook the lane, played him straight. So this week I should have tried to hook it after practice and throwing it straight.
So Mike Miller should have a good shot.
Yes, he should. They were starting to get real nice. You know, if he can keep his speed on the ball, he's going to be tough to beat.
All right, good luck next week in Peoria, Pete.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Pete. Parker Bohn coming in with that powerful strike. All even at this point. Butch Soper is our statistician, as always. He's the best, and he's like Parker, the best. Spare up.
Carry ball. Yes.
Just looked over at his buddy, Mark Roth, and thumbs up.
Mark Roth back in action after some knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Started bowling again, looks real sharp.
Rocks and then moves.
Ooh. Has to keep the speed on the ball. Mike Miller normally does not aim a shot or decelerate, but here he gets real soft. Now watch his release here. He's got, you see his thumb out to the right, takes that little jockey on the approach, gets up there, and he just doesn't get the ball speed for. He's right up there at the top and goes straight through. He's got a tough split to shoot here.
All right. Devastating open here in the third. 22-3. Meanwhile, Bohn opened with a spirit, and then we'll have a double working when he gets up again.
Now let's look at Mike's grip again. As he's way on the left side of the approach, starting in here, he's going to roll between the third and fourth arrow, the big hook. He's got his wrist curled underneath the ball. When he hits the hole, he's almost impossible to beat. Well, you know, in every sport, it's high risk, high reward when you swing for a home run every time. Look at the revolutions on that ball. It just doesn't quite get back, leaves the 2-pin. Mike is going to have to make some sort of adjustment.
Okay, Las Vegas, a 28-pin lead by Parker Bohn. And there is Mark Roth. Smile, baby. Pro Bowlers Tour. So our trip down memory lane here is a long one. 20 years ago, it was future Hall of Famer Mark Roth claiming the first of 4 1977 titles. He would go on that year to become only the third man in history to earn over $100,000.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The Peoria Open. Nothing but strikes.
Next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Mid-March, and this man has earned $84,350.
My friend.
A bug. His friend? Gone. Here's a double up. Leaving another 7-pin, this time on the right lane.
Hit it.
Parker was in 13 television appearances before he won last week. Cross lane. Okay. Here's Nelson.
Thank you, Chris. Probably the best kept secret on the PBA Tour is this man who qualified second, Steve Jaros. Steve, do you feel like even though you're ranked 15th in the world, you're not known very well? Are you intimidated by some of these top horses you got to go out against today?
Well, I really don't try to get intimidated. I just try to stay within myself and sort of just kind of keep the blinders on and just think of qualifying all the time. I figure if I can keep making it to match play, I'll have a lot of chances to get to the shows and hopefully crack off a few wins.
Well, good luck today, and you're going to see a lot more of Steve Jaros.
And Here, where 7 is okay, Las Vegas. Not so in the bowling lane. So he'll practice shooting his spares on live TV, but he'll make this one 5th frame. He's been clean in a game and a half.
Historically, Mike Miller never starts very fast in a match. When he won the national championship, he came from behind, throwing a double in the 10th to beat Norm Duke. Right now, he's struggling a little bit, needs to make an adjustment with that power ball. He can close the gap very quickly.
Crossing over and leaving the 3.
Well, it's hard for Mike to have a bad arm swing with his thumb out of the ball. If he gets it away from his body, he'll drop the ball, but he still pulled that shot a little bit. See, pulls that shot inside his target, needs to get it wider.
Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, it's the Chevy Truck International Ski Festival World Cup Alpine Ski Finals from Vail. Then, the Florida Derby presented by Visa, where the early favorite is Pulpit. Plus, highlights of the Special Olympics, World Winter Games, and on the Wide World Classic presented by Gallo, wrist wrestling. Next on Wide World of Sports.
Mike is confused, and it's very simple that he's not getting the ball speed. Under the pressure, he's tightening his arm muscles up, not getting the ball speed he was maintaining during the tournament. The ball's hooking early and drifting left.
That's fair in the 6th.
Now, there's no deceleration in this shot. I mean, watch Parker Bohn, Walter Ray Williams Jr. When they get to the foul line, they just cut it loose. They don't try to aim the shot. That's where they get that power and consistency.
So we get a 2-4 on the right lane for Bohn. And the top seed here today, the leader of the Invitational, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
As you see Parker going wide, gets a really good break as the head pin comes back and knocks out the 7. Now he only has the 2-4, much easier.
Match play, Parker was 16 and 8. He gained 30 points for each victory, 15 for a tie.
Carefully wiping the oil or conditioner off his ball. Every time, especially you go across the center of the lane, you pick up a little bit more oil in the track area. Wipe that off to get consistent roll on your strike ball.
That's better. Parker Bohn happy with that shot. You know, 40 miles northwest of Las Vegas is majestic Mount Charleston, located in the Toyabe National Forest. Number 1 always, he is the tournament leader, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Give you a tip a little later on, too, with Bo.
Warming up on the side, he can warm up as much as he wants. He's awaiting the outcome of the round robin, which we're in the 2nd match right now. Mike Miller trailing by 26.
It's only his 2nd strike in 7 frames. Headed through the 6th.
Rack.
Re-rack.
Each player allowed 2 re-racks during the championship round in a single game, and that holds true for the tournament. Good way to speed up bowling. And he's looking for something like the 1, 3, or 5 pins off spot. That's the key pins, the 1, 3, 5. Wife Jody looking on, saying, come on, Mike, get this double. You'll only be trailing by 16 if you can double here in the 8th.
Jody and Miller. Great lady. trailing by only 16 with that double.
Well, it behooves Parker Bohn III to keep the ball in the pocket. Mike Miller lurking is very dangerous.
Come on, ball. Come on.
It gave Parker a double as well. Back to a 26-pin lead, and now with another could take a big lead, though.
You're right, Chris. He could actually go out to 246, but Mike Miller's still in the match, has room for 220. Jean Bohn, Parker's mother, rooting him on.
Shades of last week.
Absolutely perfect shot by Parker tonight. Mike Miller's in a must-strike situation. He has to strike 3 times here to have any chance. Oh my, completely shreds the rack, throws the head pin against the sideboard. It shoots back across your favorite scout, Chris.
Yes.
But it did not look at Jody, the look on her face, and Christopher. They don't like that.
Mike today wanted to be sure we said hello to his daughter, Adrienne.
Right now, if Mike Miller strikes out, he has a possible 199. Parker Bohn just has to stay in the building here, and this is a very large showboat building. Well, he just went against a red-hot player in Parker Bohn. Did not get untracked right away, and that's really going to be his downfall. The first 4 or 5 frames could not get that big train going. Right now, he looks very sharp, but he's in trouble.
Oh, a 7. Mike won in Wichita in '92, defeating Ron Williams, and then won the PBA National Championship, though, in Toledo, where we'll be in 2 weeks, against Norm Duke.
Well, Mike actually bowled better than the score shows, 189. But he just left a ripping 10 in the 9th frame and left that swishing 7 pin there in the second ball in the 10th. Parker just a little cosmetic here, possible 246.
Pete Weber was 6,000 and losing the first, and now Mike will pick up a check for 8. All here in Las Vegas. All right. Oh, he stayed in the building. The winner. This week's tip of the week features the #1 professional bowler in the world, Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Walter Ray Williams, Jr. For the past 15 years, one of the top players on the PBA Tour, the 1996 Player of the Year, and a man who has a chance to rewrite all the lifetime records. Walter, you've thrown a lot of strikes in the last decade and a half. However, you're no different than the rest of us. You leave some spares sometimes. Tell us your techniques.
Well, I definitely leave more spares than I want, but you got to be able to pick up your 10 pins. And one thing I would recommend to amateur players is to stand on the left side, go over the middle of the lane, throw the ball fairly straight, and you should be able to get those spares on the right, like the 10 pin or the 6 pin.
All right, right side spares, a 6 or a 10, stand on the left. How about for the 4 or 7 pin?
For those, you want to stand just the opposite. You want to stand on the right side of the approach. Again, you want to throw the ball fairly straight and direct and go across the center of the lane, and you should be able to have no problem picking up those spares on the left, like the 2, 4, or the 7.
Walter, thank you very much. A great tip from Walter Ray Williams, Jr. When you go out and practice Practice your right side spares, such as a 10-pin, by standing on the left side of the approach. For your 4 or 7, stand on the right side of the approach. You'll improve your spare percentage and your average.
That gives you an idea of our action thus far. In the first game, 235-202, Parker Bohn. Second game, Parker Bohn 245, Mike Miller 189. So it'll be Bohn going against Steve Jaros very, very soon as we look at the assistant commissioner of the PBA, Kevin Shippey, in from Akron, Ohio.
One of the most popular guys on the tour, Kevin. As we look at the demographics for this week's tournament, this is a 56-game tournament. 168 players went to the starting gate. Big scores, 221 average, 53 players cashed. Randy Bennett and bad boy Billy Oaks got the last spots, the boys from Oklahoma. 53rd at $1,100, and here are the top 24. The Beef. And Bob Benoit, only a man only Lorinda could love there. Amuleto Monicelli. Jason Couch, second the AC Delco last week. Randy Peterson. David Ozio has a new teaching machine out. Norm Duke, he can do better than that. Wayne Webb, all that he says is, I just can't carry. U.S. Open champion David Houston. Tommy DeLute's having a good week. Tim Chris moving up the ladder. Dave Traver working his way out of his slump. And Joe Fortbrow will round out the top 24.
Okay, this week we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. A week from today, the finals of the Peoria Open on the Illinois River in the city of Peoria, 3 o'clock Eastern. 2 weeks from today, the PBA National Championship again in Toledo, Ohio.
And the defending champions in the announce booth with us, Butch Soper.
And we expect him to repeat. All right, Steve Jaros now moving in. There you see qualified second, 31. Bolingbrook, Illinois is near Wheaton. It's near Joliet. Been a pro for 13 years. 2 PBA titles. In fact, Steve won 2 Choice Hotel titles.
And we'll have a Choice Hotel tournament later on in this series in April. Now the man that's averaged 240 today won the AC Delco last week, trying to make it 2 in a row. He still has to get by Jaros and Walter Ray Williams Jr. Semifinal match.
Okay, here in the semifinal game, we are all even after 1. All strikes. For Parker, this is his 3rd game of the afternoon. The number 3 ranked bowler is showing his stuff here with a double. Semifinal game, and here's our second chance now to see Steve Jaros. He's 31. 6'1", 175 pounds. He and his mother, Helen, operate a pro shop in Wheaton, Illinois, at the Fox Bowl. Helen's here. Okay, Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Mike, you looked great at the end of the game, just couldn't get the engine started at the get-go.
Well, I think I was a little bit tight at the start, and I'm very disappointed in myself that I just didn't get out there and let it rip like I know how to do. But I'll get back here again, and next time I'll do much better.
Well, same thing happened to Pete Weber, so you can't be bad. 2 of the best have gone down to Parker Bohn, Chris, so let's see what Steve Jaros can do with him.
Steve is over on the left lane. What did the split? That left the 6'10". Last year, Steve had a 4th and a 2nd place finish. And there you see Ellen, his partner, and his fiancée, June Dubalocas. Yep, mother Helen and fiancée June. They'll be married September 6th back home. Okay, Parker now. 2 in a row. 3rd frame. winner to meet, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Parker had 8 strikes in his first victory. He had 7 in his second win. Now he has 3 in a row.
Great part about Parker's style is watch his chin or his head. He's like a diver that controls the vertical position of his body. He's nice and steady throughout the shot, doesn't pull up, hits the line very solid. That's one of the keys to his success.
Bagger for Parker Bohn and a 22-pin lead for Las Vegas. The Stratosphere is a landmark at the end of the Las Vegas Strip where old meets new.
But there's no dispute what the numbers say. Just how I feel about Mr.
Steve Jaros of Bolingbrook, Illinois, opened with a double, marked with a spare. So now he's shooting in the 4th, but his opponent, Parker Bohn, in his 3rd game today, has strung 4. Tough match. Oh, didn't.
Come on.
Scout didn't get it. Scout didn't get the 9. So a little bit to the left of center now for Steve. In fact, he was near the ball return. Okay, beautiful shot. Okay, Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Walter Ray Williams, Jr., our tournament leader. And Walter, undoubtedly, and nobody will deny it, you're the best bowler in the world right now. However, from the #1 position, you're a pretty soft touch. You going to let him beat on you out there again today?
I'm not planning on it. I go out and try to win every match. I thought I had that one last week against Pete, and I gave that to him. I felt really bad about that. So I came back pretty strong this week. I'm pretty good.
What's the key lane?
I think that left lane to me is the tighter lane. So I need to hit them both.
All right, interesting match going now, Chris. Walter Ray's up next.
Okay, he's the top seed, Walter Ray. Parker Bohn now is back up after Jaros marked the spare and a strike in the 5th frame. 4 in a row for Parker. 2 wins in a row thus far. Five-bagger. Tomorrow night on ABC, an all-new Lois and Clark, followed by America's Funniest Home Videos. Then, Tori Spelling and Jason Brooks star in Alibi, the world premiere movie event tomorrow night on ABC.
Parker Bohn starting with 5 in a row, a nice 5-figure bonus for Parker if he can bowl a perfect game here today. However, Chris, in Tampa coming up later on, if a player bowls a perfect game in the championship round, it's 7 figures, $1 million.
In Tampa, we pat him on the back for laying $1 million on the line for a perfect game there. That'll be later on. Woo. Walter Ray Williams had a perfect 300 game in the position round last night.
Don't lose track of Steve Jaros. This man is very quietly a tough player.
And Walter Ray bowled it against Steve, who shot a 258.
All right, you want to see a Chris Schenkel scout? Here, watch the head pin. Right side board, comes back, pops the 6. 6 rolls over, and doesn't miss it that time, Chris. He just tomahawks that 7.
And Apache.
But Parker Bohn is celebrating that strike. If Steve Jaros strikes here, Parker only have a 20-some pin lead, a long way from being over.
Come on. Yes.
Okay. That's 3 in a row for Steve Jaros. Steve's probably saying it. Where have I seen something like this before? Last night, Steve did against the guy that'll be facing the winner. Now Parker, a little extra preparation here now. Bohn. Imagine that, Steve, in the last game last night. That went against a 300.
Well, that's probably a tribute to Steve Jaros. I mean, you don't let up on a guy. Walter Rabel's perfect game, and here Parker Bohn's looking at 7 in a row, possibly 8. But trust me, this match is not over. It behooves Parker to keep striking.
Remember, Steve had 258 last night.
Jaros, a possible 267.
Look at that. That's a 4-bagger. Opened with a double, 2 spares, the rest strikes through 8.
He's made the top 24 the last 13 tournaments, has Jaros. The record 23 set by Dick Weber back in 1962. Correct that, 22 set in 1963. Right now, he can keep himself in the match and the pressure on Parker Bohn if he strikes here in the 9th.
Oh, that's got a hook. Oh. Just lost a little.
Yeah, 2 and 5.
Good commentary by Steve Jaros. Just lost it off his hand, didn't get the finish. 2-5 spare. Best he can bowl is 245. The door is wide open for Parker Bohn.
Ninth frame.
Well, he just couldn't roll it any better than that. As soon as he threw it, he started walking, so that was the home run trout. However, in order to gain perfection, he's going to have to perform under pressure on his tough lane. He struggled a little bit on this lane.
In a row.
Got away with one a little bit there. No matter how good you are, no matter what you've won before, there's no way you can prepare yourself or practice for this situation. 10 in a row, perfect game, semifinal, national television. One more for perfection.
A big 299, and Jaros yet to finish. We're in Las Vegas, where we'll return. We'll be right back. Just one pin. 2 matches coming in. one pin, Nelson, and it would have been a perfect game. Here it is, the last shot.
Little soft for this shot. Parker Bohn lost the Tournament of Champions on a 6-pin to George Branham III. And he loses his perfect game here at the Showboat on another 6-pin. An excellent try, 299.
Hoping. Heavy, heavy. So now, Parker with a 299, Jaros to 245. He will meet the #1 bowler in the world, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. This ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Show will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. This man has won 3 matches. The first 235, Weber's 202. In steps Mike Miller, shot a 189 to Parker Bohn's 245. And the 33-year-old from Jackson, New Jersey, advanced to meet Steve Jaros. Look at that, 299, missed it by a pin. Jaros with a big game of 245. Action, all stacked up here in Las Vegas, the city of action. So we have the big one coming up with the #1 bowler in the world going against Parker Bohn, who is trying to prove he is.
Well, you're right, Chris, but there's a lot of action all the way through the PBA Tour this year. We have the Showboats coming back with a very popular portion of the ABC telecast, the King of the Hill, later on in our series. And, of course, we have some of our favorite friends that were put into the Hall of Fame this week in Huntsville, Alabama. Frank Esposito, the coordinator and very influential guy in the PBA, and one of my great buddies, Ernie Schlegel.
The American Bowling Congress always has a wonderful event when they induct people like Frank Esposito and Ernie. We both have experienced it, and it's wonderful, so congratulations, guys. Just terrific. Okay, there are the finalists. 2 heavyweights. Tournament leader, Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Walter Ray bowled a 299 game on this championship pair earlier in the week in qualifying. So let's see what he has today.
He was 4th last week. 22 titles, 27 seconds. 3 times Player of the Year. Now here's Parker Bohn, winner of 3 if you just joined us. Pesky 6.
Back-to-back 6-pins. Finished the semifinal game with the 6-pin and the 299s. Opens this match with another one. Probably 2 things happened. Used up a lot of energy and emotion right there at the end of that game. And secondly, the lanes are getting a little bit drier. We're out here in the desert. You got to make a few more adjustments.
Tomorrow at 2:30, 1:30 Central and Pacific from Stanford Stadium, it's a USA versus Canada in the World Cup qualifier where U.S. goalkeeper Casey Keller goes for his 5th consecutive shutout in World Cup qualifying. ABC Sports will bring you the '98 World Cup from France later, but tomorrow, the World Cup qualifier at 2:30, 1:30 Central and Pacific. Nice break on the left lane for Parker.
What unusual pin action Parker's getting today. He's actually so relaxed and so confident. He's bowling the pins over top of each other. Watch this action real quickly. See the pins actually shoot around the 10-pin. Gets a good break.
Come on, hook a lot. Wow. Man, I thought that lane hooked more than that.
Wired for sound. Walter Ray, 5-pin. Back at a spare for Walter Ray. Okay, Bo?
Right, Chris, Steve, you really have bowled well last night. You shot a super game. Walter Ray bowls 300. All of a sudden, Parker Bohn 299. What do you do to bring these the best out in these fellas?
I don't know. I've been bowling really well all week. Maybe I just bring out the best in them. They're great players, and I really thought Parker was going to shoot 300 there. He threw it great.
Well, he had a chance in this game. He could have shot 300. Good luck next week. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, Steve. Good luck in the future as we look at Walter Ray. He's been really cranking, as you just saw, and getting his second strike in 3 frames. Now, Parker Bohn is a strike up. He needs one here in the 3rd. So it's another 7-pin for Parker.
Interesting with Parker Bohn, it's just a real fundamental here. He gets so low at the line. The lower you get with your shoulders over your knees as you see him miss the 7-pin, the less you have to squeeze the ball, thereby getting a more effective roll. And that's what he's getting right now. Real low, solid, shoulders over his knees.
Standing room only crowd here to Showboat.
Parker getting maximum leverage when a fellow's in dead stroke. He has a little delayed swing where he gets in his pivot step and the ball's still back. Style made very popular, a timing by Mark Roth.
You like that, Parker? Okay. We'll be back. All right.
All right, come on. You will, all right. Wow, that's not good. Boy, I thought that line was looking more.
Paige Pennington, Walter's wife. They had their first anniversary this Tuesday.
That's right. Married right here in Las Vegas.
Walter almost fell asleep at the wheel there on the 7-pin. But good technique saved him. Smooth, straight shot. Match all even, championship match, 35,000 on top. Walter Ray straight down the outside. Straight shot. Look at that 10-pin. Made about a half a turn as it jumped up off the ground. The 6-pin just nicked it. Didn't quite have enough impetus to knock it down. Watch the 10-pin. Last pin on the right-hand part of the screen. 6 hits it. Just turns that pin a little bit around. Not a good break for Deadeye.
Parker Bohn has a big 1-pin lead. He just done it was a 1-pin that did him in for a perfect game of the previous game when he shot a 299. Is a strike up, 5th frame.
I tell you, Parker's been bowling so well. Last week in the AC Delco Classic, the 2 games, he hit the pocket every shot. He's been around the pocket every shot but one since the first game. Here he whips one out the window, and that's bad luck. You throw one bad shot in 2.5 games, and you got to have a split, get the ball to the right of the 3-pin, slide the 3 over into the 7. It's makeable, but pretty tough.
First open frame for Parker Bohn today. 3 victories.
Well, there's 2 things to look at, Chris, right here. Is it, even though you're Parker Bohn, are you a little tight against Walter Ray? You know, #1 guys are #1 not only because they can perform, but the other players seem to tighten up a little bit, or Parker's just kind of run out of gas. One of the 2.
He's thrown 29 strikes thus far today.
Walter Ray did a little self-commentary on this lane last time. He said, move farther to the right. Well, look how far outside he is. He's going to be right on the edge. Whoa.
How could it be, Bo?
Well,
you punt.
That's as well as he wants to throw it. Look at how far out he is. Half the ball's hanging in the channel, but he makes a good shot with that extreme angle into the pocket. You are going to get some solid wraps.
For those that don't know the sound of the ball going down,
well, Walter had the Boeing tip of the week this week, and basically he has the best angle and technique, I think, of any player I see out here on the tour. It's very simple. End over end, the ball is rolling over the thumb hole and finger holes.
Thank you, Pro.
And he leads by 10.
Bohn with a strikeout. So Walter looking at the overhead score sheet. Let's see how the progress is. 10 pins. Walter leading. Oops.
A little cough back here in the stand. A little desert cough. And Parker being very acute with his hearing. Stopped his shot as he well should have. With a strike here, he would even the match. 7th frame.
Good ABSs. Okay, we're all even at the moment.
7 days of bowling at the Showboat. 56 games, the number 1 and number 3 players. As you look at that 56 games, 32 qualifying, 24. Walter Ray dominated. And these players are dead even with 3 frames remaining.
Laid by Parker. Walter Ray is up.
Parker likes it. First time he has the lead in the match. And there's a good side to that to Walter Ray, because Walter Ray, believe it or not, is a better bowler when he's behind in a match.
Carry. What do I have to do? Gee. Man.
Walter Ray, it's his 91st television appearance with a 227 average.
Wow. Well, right now, if he strikes out, all he can get is 218. Parker Bohn going at a 208 pace right now.
You know, we have many great cameramen on our crew. Jack Cronin is one, and he's been popping buttons here because just became a grandpa, as Kara Cronin had a baby girl. So congratulations to Joe and Kara. All right, here's the all-time money leaders. Walter Ray is number 1, and only a few thousand separate he and Pete. Albee, Holman, and then at 6, look at 6. Monticelli, Roth, Houston, Anthony, and Parker in 10th.
Parker Bohn, he gets his first real bad break in a critical situation here. He leaves a solid 7. Walter Ray, as you remember, left a solid 8 on this same lane, so breaks are even in a match. Parker leads by 9 with this conversion of the spare.
Okay. Winner here gets 35. Second place, 18, or I should say runner-up.
Best case scenario for Parker Bohn III as he comes up in the 10th frame. He's taking a look at the scoreboard. Kirk Von Kruger, our tournament director, holding the scoreboard up for Parker, is 217. Walter Ray Williams in Bowl 218, although Parker has the lead by virtue of the turkey he had in the 6th, 7th, and 8th frames. Title on the line right here. Well, Parker Bohn still leads in the match. If he spares and gets a count, Walter Ray must strike. If Parker spares, Walter must strike.
Both were on our telecast last week. Walter finishing 4th and Parker winning the AC Delco. Terrific match, 206 for Parker.
Fitting finish. The best bowler in the world coming up needs a strike 9 spare to win and defend his Showboat title. He must strike on this ball. Needs 9 spare to defend his title, and Parker Bohn thinks he's going to get it. Look at this. Parker Bohn is the winner. Walter Ray gets 6 count. Best he can shoot is 204. Look at Parker. Look at Walter. Unbelievable turnaround here. The winner, Parker Bohn, back-to-back titles.
Unbelievable.
The crowd is stunned, Chris.
Well, this is a game that gets a lot of people shaking their heads. But we all come back for more because it's fun for the amateur. This is hard work for these pros. Look at that. Okay, we'll be back. The order of finish for our 5 champions. Second win in a row for Parker on the 3rd. Goes over the 100,000 for this year. Parker today will get a check from the president of the Showboat, Parker gear, and a trophy from Jack Cook. That's Jack Cook on the left and Parker gear on the right.
Luckiest man in the world right now.
Parker
Thank you,
Bohn,
Showboat.
the $100,000 mark this early, mid-March. What a great